Greetings, 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 everyone. Joyce Kyles here, your global speaker, author, trainer, and coach. I am so excited to bring to you this podcast, Create Yourself, Intimacy, Imagery, Innovation. We're going to be talking about all of those things each and every time we meet. And I am so very excited for the guest that I have today. She is someone that I have loved, respected, and admired for so many years. And I'm just grateful that she agreed to be a guest for me today. So let me read you her bio, and that way we can just jump right on into the conversation, right? So, Arnita L. Fields, author, counselor, and consultant. Arnita L. Fields is a Milwaukee, Wisconsin native who has published 14 books and has co-authored 8 anthologies. Her kingdom mission is to impart knowledge, provide instruction, and inspire Christians to achieve emotional and spiritual balance. Arnita is the founder of Unity 3 Publications and Media, as well as Arnita L. Fields Consulting. She holds an associate degree in psychology counseling from Liberty University, a bachelor's degree in psychology from Victory University, and a master's degree in human services counseling from Regent University. Currently, she is a doctoral candidate pursuing a Doctor of Religious Studies in Christian Counseling from Trinity Seminary and Bible College. Arnita has been happily married to her husband and best friend Anthony for 27 years. Without further ado, I am so excited to be able to present to you all Ms. Arnita L. Fields, author, counselor, and consultant. So, good morning, Arnita.
Good morning, Joyce.
Look, I am excited, as you can tell, to be able to share with you because we have known each other for a long time. So, being able to share this platform with you is just, for me, is personally amazing. So, thank you for agreeing and saying yes.
Thank you so much, Joyce. It is a pleasure being here with you, and I agree. It has been such a joy knowing you and just working with you over the years.
Wow. So, yeah, that's why I'm excited. And I'm reading your bio and I'm thinking, okay, what is it that she doesn't do? That's why I was definitely wanting to make sure that you were one of my guests for this new venture for me in podcasting in this way. So let's just jump right on into it. Please tell us how long you have been doing what you do.
Well, there's a mixture of time. For about 27 years or so, I've been working in the spiritual, like biblical counseling arena where, I counsel people, as it relates to the word of God, just for redirection, for clarity and understanding. However, for the professional part of counseling, it's been about 17 years when I first began to go back to school to Liberty. So about 17 years professionally and about 27 years or so just working in the church and parachurch ministry area.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for agreeing again. I just want to say thank you. But also, I did not know that you were planning to get your doctorate until you sent me your bio. So I just want to salute you and hats off to you for creating a path and a journey that is ongoing. And it's inspiring for me as I am considering, what pursuits I want to continue on in my next create yourself moment. So kudos to you because doctorate is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Actually, it really is. I've been working on this doctorate 6 years, and I've been
Okay.
working on my doctoral project, the research part, for about 4 years. And so it does take a lot of work, and you have to be focused and to know
Okay.
why you're doing it in order to achieve the goal.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good segue then into my next question. So I want you to tell us a bit about your create yourself journey. Tell us what made you decide to choose the path that you've chosen and what made it right for you and in this time.
Um, It goes back to I think when I was a teenager, because as I thought about some of the things and I reflected over my life, I've always been a person where people came to for advice, or people may come to me to ask me for some guidance or wisdom, and I began to see that there were always solutions that would always come to
Mm.
me. to be able to assist people, to help them as it relates to whether life, dealing with marriage, family, or what have you. And so I
Mhm.
knew that Christian counseling was the path for me when I just left working for the county government. And, God was leading me. He said, I need you to go back to school. And I was
Mhm.
almost 44 years old. And so I dropped everything, went back to school to Liberty, and he wanted me to go through the process,
Mhm.
through the doctoral level, in order to do some of the things that he still is requiring of me. And so I knew that was an area of helping people, seeing people break through emotionally and spiritually in their lives, and just helping to serve as a conduit to help people to achieve, peace in their lives, balance, clarity, understanding, whatever that theme may be. I
Right.
knew it was an area that I wanted to work in.
Wow. Well, I applaud you for listening to the call and responding and doing, taking action. That's part of what this whole Create Yourself journey is all about. So tell us some of the things that you have found to be most gratifying for you in this experience.
Wow. Seeing people smile, seeing people be relieved, seeing the weight of the burden
Mm,
that people are carrying, to see that lifted from them, seeing people be restored, seeing marriages restored, families
mm,
heal, seeing
mm.
people speaking to one another again, without having malice or, things in their heart. And so
Yeah,
those are some of the things that I have enjoyed seeing and watching live in living color over the years, is just seeing people no longer burdened down,
right,
and being
right.
free to move forward in life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can certainly attest firsthand the importance of counseling and getting counseling in the way that it can free you and restore you. And then just knowing you personally and knowing your journey and your story in the way that I have seen you show up for people in the ways that you operate. So I know that you are operating in a spirit of excellence, that it is something very freeing about smiling and seeing people smiling and knowing that you had a part in that. So I can, like I said, I can definitely attest to being someone who has definitely benefited from counseling. I know that I probably would not have done some of the things that I have been blessed to do had I not taken that step forward for counseling. So, with that being said, then we talked about some of the things that you find gratifying in that space. What are some things that you have found that maybe have been a bit disheartening for you on your journey?
I think dealing with the difficulties that people experience, hearing people to share their stories of loss, the grief, people who have gone through betrayals, people who have gone through some hard places, and even with the climate that we have going on now, just hearing some of those stories, it's hard to hear. But the
Mhm,
purpose and the role of the counselor is not to just take that burden from people, but it's to help
mhm,
to show
mhm.
people these are some tools you can use to help you to deal with and to be able to process what you're experiencing so that you can move your feet forward in freedom.
Right.
So the counselor is not the one that does the work. It's up to the person to participate in their healing. And so just some of those things, some of the stories over the years I've heard um, have been difficult. However,
Mhm,
as a counselor, our goal is to take that and to give it to God,
mhm,
um,
mhm.
and allow for Him to guide that person on that path. We're just a conduit to help lead them to making the right decision for their lives.
Okay, okay. So then, with this being a podcast about creating yourself, what imagery looks like, what intimacy looks like, what innovation looks like, and how we can thrive together, as I like to say, transition, transform, and thrive together. What would be some things then that you would say to a person who may be on the fence about counseling and, maybe they're thinking, kind of need this, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really comfortable. We know the myths, we know the things that have been said oftentimes, particularly in our communities, about counseling and the need for it. But if a person is interested or contemplating counseling and looking at it from a lens of how this is going to help me to create a new me, what types of things or suggestions, advice would you offer?
Well, there's a few things. The first initial thing that I would share with them is to know what type of counselor they are looking for, because you
Mhm.
have so many different versions of what a counselor can look like. Like I work in, helping people from a biblical, Christian, Christ-like standpoint. And then you
Right,
have those
right.
counselors who are professionals, which are those who are licensed. You have psychologists and you have psychiatrists. And
Mhm.
so, depending on what situation a person may be dealing with, to go from there and to find a counselor that fits them, someone that they're able to feel safe with, someone that they can share their heart with, and not wonder if their information is going to be, out in the wind, so to speak. So I first would share with them to find the right counselor for the situation they're dealing with. If they're looking for someone for marriage counseling, look for those who have a track record of helping couples, and
Mhm.
also look for those who, have not just the background, but also the history of being a good helper. And so those
Absolutely.
things are real key. And so
Yeah.
it's okay to do a consulting session with a counselor and deciding that that's not the right fit. So go to
Mhm.
the next person that will be able to be a help and assistance with you. So that'll be the first thing. It's okay,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So that would be the first thing I would say.
No, that is actually wonderful because I believe that if you take that first step of being clear and understanding what it is that you need, it will help to guide you through the process of, okay, what are my next steps? Yeah, because a lot of times we don't know what we need. So it's a matter of, that person asking questions to make sure that they get the information that they need so they can make the best and most informed decision. So I like that. I like that.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, we are starting to wind down our time. So I do have a couple of other questions, though, for you. Number one, do you have any events that are coming up that we need to know about?
Well, I do have an event that will be coming up, but it's later on this summer. But the first and foremost thing is I have a new book that will be coming out on March 25th. It will
Okay.
be pub day for me, and the book is called Counselors Grieve 2. 22 wisdom
Good.
keys for your replenishment journey. And I started that book right before the start of COVID.
Okay.
And I finally got an opportunity to finish it. And it talks a little bit about my grief journey that I went through over the
Mm,
years. And so
okay.
that book will release on the 25th. And it's a book that's written specifically for counselors, people helpers, for those who are caretakers, people who more or less care for other people. And helping people, whether to grieve or to deal with the difficulties in life. And so that book is written specifically for them, to help them to heal first
Okay.
before they help others. And so
Wonderful.
it's a subject that's not widely talked about. And so
No.
that was something that was on my heart, to help
Okay.
the people helpers to be healed so that we can be ready to help those who need us.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. Congratulations. And that is truly one of those create yourself. And when you see the need for something that you just take charge and let's put it out there and get it to the masses. Because yes, you are absolutely right. It is a subject that is not always talked about, grieving and caregiving. Just how do we care for ourselves? So I think that's an excellent book. I think it's going to be an excellent read, especially for anyone who may be on the fence about getting counseling or the need for counseling or why I would get counseling. I think you articulated very well, what those first steps should be in terms of just being clear about these are the things that I need. as you're talking with people, and also encouraging them to do an initial consultation to make sure that they're getting what they need. And now you're following it up with a book that people can relate to, because grief is grief and we all grieve differently. But I think that it's important for people to understand that even though you may be a person who is a caregiver or a counselor or a teacher, we all still feel, we're all still human, we all still grieve, and we all need to deal with that grief. So congratulations to you.
Thanks so much, Joyce.
So tell us, how can we purchase the book? Do you have any other events that are coming up as well?
Yes, actually, as it relates to purchasing the book,
Mhm.
you can go to my Amazon page. It'll be available on Apple Books as well as
Okay.
Barnes and Noble and other online retailers. And also, if they would go to my website and that'll be listed, they can order a pre-order a copy, a signed copy, and I'll send that to them on the 25th when the book's release.
Okay.
But as it relates to the book, there'll be a couple of other projects that will be coming that will be associated with that, and that will be
Okay.
available on the website as well.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. And yes, all of the contact information will be available. It's going to be in print on this podcast so that you can go to it. I will tell you the website is actually arnitalfields.blog. She's on Instagram. She has a link tree. So we're definitely going to make sure that you have all of the information. It will be on the flyer. It will be tagged with this podcast. So everyone can run out, buy it, share it, use it, respond to her, give her some positive feedback, because I know it's going to be fabulous, because Arnita is fabulous. So I'm not worried about any of that. I know that you will be pleased. I look forward to receiving my copy, as well as learning more about the other projects, because we did talk offline a bit. I know that you've got some other things coming up. So I'm looking forward to being able to hear, see, and share what you're doing next. So I want to thank you for being a guest. But as we wrap this up, I do want to ask you, is there anything that you want to make sure that the audience leaves with as a takeaway or takeaways as we close out today's podcast session?
I wanted to make 3 points, Joyce,
Okay.
as it relates to the season that I just came out of, and it was a
Okay.
season of transition as I was
Mm,
dealing with the grief. One of the main points is for people not to fight against their seasons of transition and to be okay with being stretched, to not fight against it, but to allow what God wants to do, to allow for that to just flow because He knows the way that we need to go in. And so, not to fight
yes.
against it. Number two, don't overuse the area of talent and gifting just because it's comfortable to you and just because you're widely
That's
known
good.
for it. Those were some things that he dealt with me about as I transitioned to not always be comfortable with the things that I know and the things I
Mm-hmm.
can do. And number three was the birthing of new seasons always bring with it an opportunity to revisit areas of giftings and talents that we previously overlooked. And some of the things that he reminded me of was some of those childhood, teenage things that I had desired to do, but I skipped over them, you know. And he
Wow.
brought some
Okay.
things back to my remembrance and said, "This is something I want you to do now." And so I had to begin to look at my life and my journey from a different lens. And so, not being afraid of those transition times, not being afraid of beginning again, not being afraid of God showing you more of who you are so that you
Mm.
can walk in the way that He wants you to. And so, as I get older,
Yes. Yes.
those things
Yes.
come to
Yes.
mind. You want to do everything that you need to do while you have breath in your body. And so, it's okay to begin again. It's okay to step into the new. It's okay to go through those seasons of transition because there's beauty in those transitions. That's what I found out from my grief
Yes.
journey, that there is beauty and there is purpose in that. And life is not over until our time is done. So move with God.
All right. Ooh, okay. Now you know that's about to open up a whole nother conversation for me. So but I am going to be respectful of our time because transition it's very important to me. I talk about transition all the time, and that was a lot of why I wanted to create this particular podcast in the first place, is because I truly wanted people to be comfortable with what it means to transition, to transform, and to thrive. And I wanted us to be able to do it together. And so I think that's why that has become a tagline for me. So I am so pleased. I knew that when you and I talked about you being a guest here, I knew that you would share what people needed to hear about the importance of things like transition. That's what Create Yourself is all about. So I am so, so pleased. Tell the people, again, we're going to have it listed, but while we are recording this podcast, tell the people the best ways to get in touch with you, and I will follow up with everything in writing.
All right, Joyce. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure. It's so good
Yes,
to
mine
see
too.
you. So good. People can reach me via email. My email is info@arnitalfields.blog. And they can also reach me at my website, arnitalfields.blog. And also on Instagram and my link tree, which is Arnita L. Fields / link tree. And you can also visit on Instagram to get that link tree link as well.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode of Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, Innovation, featuring the very lovely, wonderful, excellent, dear friend of mine, Arnita L. Fields. I thank you so much for your time and your presence. Thank you for sharing with our audience. I will be following up with you about your next event, your upcoming event. I'm just pleased. I'm really excited about the places and spaces that God is taking you, and that I have been connected for you as long as I have. You have truly been an inspiration to me. So I just want to thank you for making time and space for our viewers, but more personally, making time and space for me. So thank you.
You're so welcome, Joyce. Thank you so much.
All right, that concludes our episode for today. Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, and Innovation. I am Joyce Kyles, your global speaker, author, trainer, and coach, encouraging you to tune in each and every podcast as we continue on with this series and let us transition, transform, and thrive together.